Hettie, who's going to be one of the 8 candidates for the Hettie ward in the by-election. I'd just like to give an opportunity to explain what she'll be doing.
Yes, well, I think I ought to explain some of the things that have gone out on the leaflet, because it might leave some people a bit perplexed. Because UKIP, I'm standing for UKIP in the town of the ward of Hettie and the county position in Carmarthen. And we start off with no blanket 20-mile-an-hour policy. No farmers, no food, no net zero. Now all of those come under one bracket really, and it is no net zero. And we're the only party that does not agree with net zero. So the Uni Party of Plaid, the Conservatives, Labour, they're well on board with net zero. So for instance, I went to the Senedd on Wednesday to the farmers' protest, and you can have all the AMs standing outside saying they're supporting the farmers. The Conservatives are all there, and of course they're not, because they're all on board with net zero. And that basically means the deindustrialisation of Europe. They want to get the traffic off the roads. And how it might impact the town is within no time at all. I expect they'll come up with a 20-minute neighbourhood or 15-minute city if Llanelli goes down that route. And again, it's more locking down, getting you off the roads, getting you out of your cars. And nobody was ever asked about any of these things. Like nation of sanctuary, nobody has been asked about these things. And that's what infuriates people. The policy in schools of sanctuary. I mean, I've been speaking to a lot of mothers and grandmothers who are furious that their children are being indoctrinated without them being consulted. And that's in the local schools around Llanelli. People are coming in from these various non-governmental organisations and saying, more or less intimating that if you'd been up at the Straddy Park and protesting about the hotel, you were basically, you have racist parents. And so they get people in to tell them how they should be welcoming migrants. I mean, in my day it was stranger danger, but no, you have to welcome migrants, and they've been teaching them about Islam and the sex education. And all these things, there's no consultation, and people are furious. And the schools are secretive, and they don't want to talk to the parents. Couldn't they at least give them an idea of who is coming to speak to them or why? So there's a lot of things that I differ with the Labour and Plaid. And if you're looking at the actual town and the demise of the town that's happened over, I don't know, the last 30, 40 years, there's no pride in the town. It's, for instance, outside the court building, there was some graffiti, and they managed to pressure wash it off. This was a few months ago, but they just did that one wall. I thought, why didn't they carry on around the town and pressure wash everything? You look out in Llanelli, we've got hanging baskets on the lampposts and those sort of things, but I don't see an awful lot of that in the town. Yes, so it's been run down, neglected, and it is a worry for everyone. And I'm not saying it isn't something that all parties are worried about, the closure of shops. I think there's something like 27 closed in the first 2 streets you come across. But you do wonder, they've spent an inordinate amount of money on the YMCA, and it looks beautiful. But that's a huge lump of a budget that you just wonder could not have been better spent. I actually spoke to one of the builders when back Christmas time, and he said it would have been much cheaper if they kept the facade and knocked the building down. They could have done it far more cheaply. And these are the sort of things that I don't know, because I'm not involved, and hopefully if I am elected you can get a handle on budgets and where the money's going. But is it sensible to be building more shops when they've got an awful lot empty? I certainly think that all parking should be free. How on earth can they compete with Trostra? If you have to pay to park, I mean, that's a given that all parking should be free. Obviously, you know, rates for shops, I think probably a lot of little shops don't pay rates, but certainly some of the bigger ones, to encourage anything into the town. And as for rents, if the council have bought up shops, the rents, they should be rent-free for, say, 6 months, or perhaps taken them out from only pay on profits. If you're not profitable, then you won't be paying rent. But they really have to get people back into the shops. The markets that they sometimes have should be pushed. I mean, there are lots of ideas I have, but you have to inject money into the town and pride in the town. Local housing is a massive problem as well, and that's something else. People were never consulted on. They're not consulted. They weren't consulted on Stradi with the influx of illegal immigrants who are flooding into the town, and it is a real concern. People are talking to me all the time. They're really worried for the safety of their children, grandchildren, lack of housing, the prioritising of housing for illegal immigrants over local people. It's shocking, and it is happening everywhere, and there just doesn't seem to be any end to it. And of course that puts pressure then on all the services, the NHS, the doctors' waiting list, the schools, you name it, for people who haven't put any money into the system. And it's something, again, local people aren't asked. They aren't told how many are coming, how many are here, how many more. And it's almost like the councils, they operate under a veil of secrecy. They're not open about a lot of things that are going on. So yes, I do differ to a lot of the people you've probably spoken to, who are on board with all these things, or basically they can't say anything different because they're part of the Labour Party or Plaid, and that's part of their policy. But another thing is with the Senedd, expanding it even more is something that we're not with. There are 60 AMs, and then now they want another 36. It's wasting money all the time. The pot is only so big. And of course the rates are going up now. I believe it's 6.5%. I mean, where has the money gone? Carmarthen Council is 400 million plus in debt. And you look around Hettie and you think, where has the money been spent? So yes, I think you've got to start at the grassroots. I had no intention of standing as a councillor until I heard about Thetford in Norfolk, where a mayoress came out to tell a packed community hall that they were going to have a 20-minute neighbourhood and they were going to love it. Well, I don't think she bargained on the crowd's reaction, because fortunately for them, there was an election coming up, council elections, within the month, and the locals got together, forwarded 13 candidates, 4 were successful, and they turned the policy around. So it's getting in at the grassroots, if you like, starting with the local council, the town council, the county council. You know, it's the only way you're going to change things and have a voice. So yes, I idea, say if I was elected, I'd put the cat amongst the pigeons, possibly.